everyone, and my name is Steven.
Hey, it's Justin.
And welcome to another edition of Korins Tower. First up today is going to be Red Emergency. This is an event. Its power, use critical damage effect. If you have 2 or more anger, search your discard pile for 2 drills, rejuvenate one of them, and place the other into play. We bring this up today because it has been questioned quite a bit on Facebook about if you have only 1 drill in your discard pile, can you play it with this card? The answer to that is no, due to the fact that it says place the other into play. There is no other if there is only 1.
Right.
So the drill would be regenerated.
Yeah, the first part of the sentence tells you you have to rejuvenate one of them first. And if you only have 1, well then that's the one you have to rejuvenate. And then of course you don't have a drill left to put into play. So I don't know. It seems kind of obvious to me. I don't know why there was any confusion about it. But sometimes people don't understand the rules fully. But you just do it in the order that it tells you to. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And it says rejuvenate 1 first, so that's what you do.
Pretty much, but everyone thinks differently though. So there might be some things that I might miss that that this person missed this card, but I might miss another card. So who knows?
Right.
So just clarification: regenerate first, and then place the other one into play if there is another one. All right, so going quickly. All right, isolation. I love this card, and no one runs it. Why? So isolation setup: banish after use, instant power. Use when entering combat. Drills and allies lose all effects until the end of combat. Allies cannot make actions, nor have their damage redirected to them this combat, which was updated in the CRD.
Yes. It says to combat on the original card.
They cannot have their damage redirected to the combat. However you would accomplish that, I do not know. But yes.
Yes, which they did fix the typo on the promo version of Isolation, by the way. But I guess they felt the need to put that in the CRD just as a typo fix. It's not really changing the ability. It still does the same thing. It's just they made a typo.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I guess it's not like Sand Saga where they rewrote every card in the Sand Saga in the CRD, but
just about like half the set at least.
Yeah, but anyways, Isolation. This card is amazing. Like I said, I don't know why people don't run it. I know people have their own board play, and this could affect their board play if they have allies or drills. But this is really good to shut down, especially upcoming your meta decks. Orange Goku, he has gotten second place the last 2 regionals, and someone posted a deck list, and I was counting the number of setups, drills, and allies, non-combats if you're old school, in his deck, and he had 23 non-combats in his deck. 23, they were either drills, setups, or allies in his deck. I mean, having 1 card in your deck that shuts down 1/3 of a player's deck, I mean, how is that not awesome? How is that not awesome? Why would you not run that, at least, in that situation, if it's a meta deck at that?
Yeah, definitely. And it seems like Orange Goku is now one of the top decks in the current meta, just because, like you said, it won second place now in the past 2 regionals. So obviously it is competitive, it is viable. And Orange still isn't. It doesn't seem like it's as popular as the other styles, but with Goku making an appearance in the top 2, people are going to start taking notice. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more Orange decks now, probably more Orange Goku, because the last 2 have been Goku, so it's been proven that he is successful with Orange. So yeah, if we start seeing more Orange Gokus, and there's already a whole bunch of Ginyus out there, then I'm anticipating seeing a lot of Isolation being used, because it essentially shuts down both of those deck types. The Ginyu, because of the ally, stopping the allies from doing things, and the Orange Goku deck, or just any Orange deck in general, because all Orange decks really they're going to have some drills in there. They may not be completely drill focused, but they're going to have some drill focus in their deck, and this is going to help shut off a good chunk of their deck. Maybe not 1/3 like with the Goku deck in the last regional, because that's quite a bit. Like I don't have an Orange deck, so I don't know how many drills they would normally run, but there's a good chance it's going to shut down a good chunk of their deck, though.
Yeah, and yeah, the Ginyu's been out there forever, like you said, and shutting down Ginyu's allies could be a big deal as well, especially if you're going as beatdown. Now, all to those Saiyan decks that, like, there was 2 Saiyan decks at the Arizona regional. And I respect y'all, and I really hope y'all are running isolation, because that, going up against allies and you're just like, oh, you can't redirect damage to them and you can't use them. Now I can actually get my physical attacks in and actually do something,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if your opponent's just sitting there, putting a whole bunch of drills into play, or like Ginyu, everyone knows what Ginyu does. He just sits there and gets all of his allies out, and you discard him and he gets them back, and he just keeps using his allies to his advantage. And you really can't do much until you get rid of his allies. Well, this helps it. This helps you. You get one combat to where you don't have to worry about his allies. They're essentially not even there. I mean, he can't really do anything with them that's going to help him at all. And you just get a free combat to act like he didn't have them. Do whatever you can with that combat. But it can make a big difference for sure. Which I'm surprised that more people aren't using it already because of the Ginyu, having such dominance in organized play right now. But I don't know. I think that people may just not be aware of how powerful this card is right now in the current meta.
Hopefully we'll see it soon. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we will.
All right. It is long overdue for the rant of the wall breaker.
Oh, wall breaker.
So, physical combat, physical attack, damage, AT +1. Man, that damage is awesome. Attached to your opponent's main personality. While attached, your opponent cannot gain anger. Banish this card when your opponent deals critical damage. So, as a red player, I obviously hate this card. But
I hate it too.
In general, so they made a card that to help against MPP, especially red TN at set 2. And then in set 3 they decided to go ahead and give red cards to get around it. So you got like Static Shock, you got possibly which you already had Static Shot, you already had red left bolt. Then you got they gave you Mule Kick. If you're a hero, you got Focus Assault. Got it right that time. And then if you're a villain, you got Sagacious Strike. So I mean, and that's not counting if you deal damage with any energy attacks or anything like that. So you got a good chunk of cards in your deck that you can easily get around Wallbreaker. Now here's the thing. Okay, so you're like, oh yeah, I'm red. Dang, they played they printed Wallbreaker. This sucks in set 2. Set 3, you're like, okay, well now I can kind of play around it. What the heck are the other styles gonna do? Like Namekian? Really? That just no. It's not even fair. I mean, you want to go ahead and jump in on Namekian, because I know you like this on Namekian.
Oh yeah, it completely screws my Namekian decks when it gets on me, because most of the I won't say most, but a lot of the good energy attacks in Namekian only do 4 or sometimes 3 life cards of damage. Like there's only a couple of attacks that actually do enough damage by themselves to do a critical effect. And it's so hard to get damage modifiers with Namekian. I mean, you have to kind of rely on like a personality, maybe Piccolo level 3 or Gohan or something like that, to actually give you the damage, or maybe a drill or something to do a critical effect. I mean, it can definitely happen, or maybe a Dragon Ball 1 or something like that. It can definitely happen, but it's so difficult to pull off. If you get a wall breaker on you, in a Namekian deck, it is like a death sentence. It really is like a death sentence, because you want to level up in Namekian decks. That's a core part of the Namekian style right now, is leveling up, because you get that anger from your mastery every time you rejuvenate, and Namekian decks like to rejuvenate. And Wallbreaker just completely shuts them down. And so that's why I say, I hate the card too. Just like your red player, you hate Wallbreaker because you like to gain anger. Well, I'm a Namekian player, and I like to gain anger, so I guess I hate the card too by default. It's too powerful. The one card, it doesn't even, it's not a hit effect or anything. It's just an immediate effect. All they have to do is play the card. You can't stop it. There's nothing that you can do to stop them from using the effect of that card. And that's what makes it so powerful. And it depends on, if the type of deck you're playing against when you attach it to them. They may not be able to get rid of this card for a while. Like, it could be 2 or 3 combats maybe before you get enough damage to do a critical effect. Or just a critical damage, I mean. I mean, there is no risk on the person playing it, but it can completely shut down several deck types. And that's what I don't like about it. It's too powerful. It does too much for what it is. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a weak attack, but the attack isn't really the part that matters on this card. It's the fact that you're shutting down any sort of attempt at gaining anger. And that's such a core part of several decks. You know, three different styles at least. You got Saiyan, Namekian, and Red, which all use anger as a core mechanic. And this one freestyle card, which everybody can use, shuts down those decks. It's too much. You know, it's too much for one card. And I think they realize the mistake that they made. You know, if you look at set three, how they have a lot of cards now to kind of counter wall breaker, or it seemed like they were designed, you know, as an anti-wall breaker. But it's not really enough, because if you don't draw those counter cards, wall breaker's still going to shut you down. And you could have, you could have an easy matchup against someone in tournaments, and if they wall break you first turn, that could mean that you're going to lose the game. Just as simple as that. Just because you got wall breakered first turn, it's an instant loss, depending on the type of deck you're using. And it's just too much. It's too much. I don't like the card at all. I think it's very poorly designed, and it's way, way, way too powerful.
Yeah, and the thing that kind of bugs me, I guess, is because I like playing heroes, as I mentioned before. But like, if you're a villain, you got Sagacious Strike, which is a really awesome card. But if you're a hero, you got Focus Assault. And what bugs me about Focus Assault is the fact that it only destroys Wall Breaker. It doesn't banish it. So it essentially, it's like, oh, I play Focus Assault. Focus Assault is banished after use. So I play one card, it's banished, and then your Wall Breaker goes to your discard pile. And then you shuffle your Wall Breaker back in, you visit in the past, grab the Wall Breaker right back. My Focus Assault really isn't that viable in comparison to Sagacious Strike. You know, heroes have one less card, really, because I don't consider Focus Assault a good card to be anti-wall breaker in that case, versus the Sagacious Strike for the villain. So, you know, it's like you kind of get forced to push villains. And with the new, you know, with the last set where, you know, pretty much, you just have all villains, you know, you literally, it's like you're forced to play villains right now or come up with some crazy awesome, you know, deck on a hero. But it's just, I feel like, you know, I'm almost forced to play villains because of that.
Right.
Which I don't like one card justifying what, you know, hero or villain I'm playing. Which that bugs me. But anyways, I will say though, as much as I don't like black in general for all the manipulation and random crap they do, it is hilarious when I see somebody play that black card and it moves the wall breaker to the opponent. And that is hilarious, and I love black all day long for that specifically, and only that specifically. But it actually, I'm hoping, this is just personal opinion, but I put wall breakers in my deck just because, you know, you kind of feel like you have to, because everybody else is going to do it, so if they're going to slow me down, I need to slow them down. And then I was just thinking about it, I was like, man, now I have a card in my deck that black can use against me. And I really hope that because of the way black is, even though I don't like playing against black and I don't play as black, I really hope all its manipulation just forces people to be like, you know what, we're not going to play wall breaker because it's too risky, because black just will screw us over with our own card. And so I give props to black for that.
While, yes, that is true, black can use your own cards against you. I don't know if that's going to be much of a deterrent. That's just kind of like, you know, people accept it. It's just, it is what it is. If you play a black deck, you're just going to get your stuff used against you. But I don't think it's going to, because it's just too good of a card for them not to run, just because they might encounter a black deck that might use it against them. But, you know, as much as I wish that would be the case, unfortunately it is not. I mean, I think instead of just trying to cover their mistake, which kind of seems what they did with, you know, some of the other cards they've made, just cover the wall breaker mistake, they should just errata the card. They should just make it. I don't know what they should do to it. You know, I'm not trying to suggest something specific, but they just need to make it less powerful, make it not so crippling. You know, every time you get that wall breaker, at least me, when I get wall breakered and I don't really have anything to get rid of it right away, it makes me feel like the game's already done, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I just get it's like I feel trapped. I'm helpless. Like, okay, they just played this card. I can't do anything about it. And I may not be able to do anything about it for a long time. And if I can't get it off of me, there's a good chance I'm going to lose. Or it's at least going to put me at a serious disadvantage. And it's no risk on their part to play. Right. They need to lessen the effects. You know, do something, make it not so severe, not so game changing.
Well, I mean that's a good point, and you know what? I'm going to ask a question to all our viewers here, and I want you to post your comment below if you agree or don't agree. But we don't currently have a ban restricted list like other card games do. Do you think we should have a ban restricted list? And in that case, do you think restricting Wallbreaker to one of in a per deck would actually be a good way to justify that? Or putting it on a ban list if it's going to be that bad, or having a ban restricted list at all. I mean, we don't have one. What should we?
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. It's a very good point. And Wallbreaker, I don't know if Wallbreaker should be banned, but if it were restricted, say limit 1 per deck, maybe possibly limit 2 per deck. I don't know, but limit 1 per deck would be a lot better. I think so, at least. As someone who thinks the card's too powerful, there may be people out there who don't, but for the most part, everyone I've talked to, thinks the card's too powerful as well. It just has too much of an impact. This one card from set 2 is going to rule the game for a very long time unless they do something about it.
Yeah.
There are going to be people that want to use certain decks at a tournament or something they're going to, but are not going to, specifically because Wallbreaker exists. They're going to say, you know what, I want to run this MPP deck, but if I get Wallbreaker and I can't stop it, I'm just going to get demolished. So it phases out certain decks altogether, just from this card existing. It makes it to where your meta, your choice of top meta decks, I guess, is very limited. And I don't think it's healthy for the game, for the environment as a whole.
Right. I mean, you already have a problem trying to make Saiyan work in a regional right now. I mean, we don't need to nerf them anymore by playing Wallbreaker. Yeah,
it's big against Saiyan deck. Now Saiyan can do some stuff about it. Of course, they do a lot of damage, and they got a few cards that can indirectly deal with it. But yeah, it's like I was saying earlier, that and Namekian and Red, they all three depend on anger for a lot of their effects, and this just completely stops them from doing that.
Yeah. I will say the Goku list that I have up here, the first place was Blue Ginyu in Virginia, and then the second place was Orange Goku in Virginia. Neither of them are running Wallbreaker, and they got first and second place. So, just want to throw that out there to all you people that are, wanting a net deck. You don't need Wallbreaker to win, so don't run it. Don't run it for the sake of everybody else. Don't run Wallbreaker because you don't need it to win.
Maybe we could just convince people to do it like as an act of kindness.
Right.
Just like a mutual respect for each other. Nobody uses Wallbreaker.
Yeah. All right. Well, on to the next card, unless you got more to say.
No, I think we've talked about it enough. We hate the card. I'm sure everyone else does. Yeah.
All right, Namekian Overtime. Man, I have a love-hate relationship with this because I love using this card and I hate it when my opponent uses it. So Namekian Overtime, an event, banish after use, from set 1. Power Rejuvenate 1.
There you go.
I try to say Regen, but I don't know. But Rejuvenate 1. Destroy the top X cards of your opponent's life deck. X equals the number of Dragon Balls you control. Search your life deck for a styled energy combat card and place it into your hand. So, awesome card. Just want to throw this out there. It does say styled energy combat card. You can't get a non-styled with it. I have seen that happen.
Oh, have you seen people try and get something non-styled?
Yes. Someone tried a blinding energy move with it. They tried to use this and they grabbed blinding energy move because they had a really bad hand and they wanted to get out of combat.
Yeah, it's not that good.
No.
Oh, it's good. But it's not that good.
Right? Yeah. You go ahead. You're Namekian.
Yeah, I am the Namekian player, so I guess I should kind of take the lead on this one. Well, first of all, let me just say, holy shit.
Sorry, kids at home.
Yeah. This card, basically, it's one of those cards, and Namekian has a lot of them. It just kind of does a little bit of everything. And that's what I like the most about Namekian. It may be one of their most overpowered aspects, is that you just play one card and it does like 6 different things. And this is kind of an example of that. Maybe not 6, but you get the rejuvenate, right? You rejuvenate a card, which triggers your anger from the mastery. You get to destroy cards from your opponent's deck depending on the number of Dragon Balls you control, which you're going to have Dragon Balls if you're Namekian. So that's instant damage as well. And then you get to search your deck for any styled energy combat card. And Namekian has so many good, awesome, amazing energy combat cards. It's just like a treasure trove, you know. You get to choose like it's kind of like Namekian Flinch, like we talked about before with the Dragon Ball options to choose from. You can pretty much do whatever you want. It's kind of the same deal. You can basically do whatever the hell you want. You can get an attack that may have an awesome effect that you want, or you can get a defense if you're low on defense. Or, I mean, it does whatever you want. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. It allows you to set up your hands. It allows you to choose a card to put in your hand from your deck. It's like a tutor in Magic the Gathering, essentially. And anytime you have the ability to select a card from your deck or from your discard pile or wherever, when you actually get to choose a specific card and put it in your hand, that gives you such a massive advantage because you can choose the card that is the best in that situation. You know, you don't have to worry about the randomness of your hand when you draw it. You actually get to set up your hand to be effective in the situation you're in, which is one of the great things about this. It's essentially swapping itself for something that is going to be very beneficial to the situation. And while you're swapping it out, you're also getting a lot of other things. Free damage, you know, you get to rejuvenate, you get cards back, your anger's being raised. It's just all around a fantastic card. And definitely one of the most powerful cards in Namekian, just because it does so many different things. And because there are so many, like I said, there are so many other energy combat cards in Namekian that are good. So it's like you have so many amazing choices to choose from when you use it. So all around great combo card that does way too many effects to keep track of and will guaranteed piss off your opponent every time you play it.
This card right here is the reason why I always have at least 2 energy spheres in my deck.
And the mill part, you know, where you destroy the cards depending on the number of Dragon Balls you control. This is massive in a Dragon Ball deck, like in a Lord Slug Dragon Ball deck, one of my decks I have. If you just use a couple of Namekian overtimes, you have like 3 or 4 Dragon Balls. You know, that's like 7 or 8 life cards that you just did to them for free. For free, I mean, on top of rejuvenating and gaining anger and getting a card to replace it. I mean, it's like bonus. And people really underestimate cards that do immediate damage like this, that just force your opponent to discard. But they're extremely powerful because you're already making them discard every time you play a Dragon Ball. And on top of this, using a card like this to make them discard even more, it really does add up. And over the course of the game, you know, playing all your Dragon Balls and playing several overtimes, you're going to get a lot of free damage on your opponent. On top of the rejuvenation, you know, giving yourself a life deck advantage. So the difference between your decks is going to be quite substantial.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot like, and as far as the destruction that you're talking about, Orange Destruction, the mill, the one that destroys the top X cards of your opponent's deck, X equals, or 1 plus X equals the number of drills you have in play. It's the same concept. I mean, and that one's doing really well. Obviously, he got second place in a regional. You know, so I mean, yeah, this destroying top cards of your opponent's deck is really awesome. It's really good to have. It is, yes.
It's a very good effect, and you know, you can do it pretty effectively in Namekian by, you know, using this card and also recycling Dragon Ball 7 with various effects that, you know, let you put Dragon Balls into play and, you know, returning them and then playing them again, and etc. You know, you can actually use Namekian pretty successfully to mill your opponent's deck down. And it's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I can't find a reason why you wouldn't run 3 of these in every Namekian deck, honestly.
It does things that are beneficial to every Namekian deck. Yep. So, honestly, like you said, every Namekian deck really should have 3 of them. There's no point not to. I mean, it replaces itself and does things on top of that. What more can you ask for?
I can't. I really can't. It's giving me everything plus more.
Exactly. There's no downside to this card. There's no down. I mean, maybe the fact it's banished, but I wouldn't call that a downside. That's just kind of necessary.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, we've been going for a while now. I just want to throw in one last card here real quick. I say it's nothing special. It's a really awesome card. But so orange possession drill, power, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards from your hand unless you discard a style drill from your hand. Obviously, it's awesome for multiple reasons, but I am bringing it up today because there's been a couple of orange Krillins I've seen floating around, and they had the awesome idea of pulling this drill out early on and using Krillin, his level 1, and this allows him to proc his level 1 when a card's discarded from a player's hand inside of orange. So, I mean, Krillin was already big, in obviously black and blue, because they get the card discarded, and even in red when they do their crazy manipulation. But now, orange, utilizing Krillin, it's really awesome, good drill, and cool combo with Krillin.
Oh yeah, it gives you that guaranteed proc of your ability, which you didn't really have in orange before. I mean, like you said, you could do it with black and blue pretty easily, but if you want to play a different style, it's kind of difficult to reliably use your level 1 ability. But yeah, this allows you to do that, and orange can get this drill out very easily, and you can use it every combat. There's no time we can't use it. It's not one of those cards that needs a specific circumstance to use. You just have to discard cards from your hand, which you're always going to be able to do.
Right.
So yeah, keep that in mind. Orange Krillin. This card is extremely effective on his level 1. Allows you to proc that ability at will.
Well, guys, it is over for now, but we will be back next week as well. So we appreciate you viewing. Please leave comments about anything. I don't care what it is now. Just leave it a comment.
We need feedback.
We want to know what you like about this. We want to know what you want us to talk about. If there's anything different you want us to talk about. If you enjoy it, let us know. That would be awesome. So, but yeah, anyways.
Just a comment as simple as, cool show.
Right,
just anything to let us know that, there are people out there that appreciate what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, or you can put on there that, Steven, you suck and I hate you. It's fine. I'll accept that too. It's cool. But anyways, so obviously, once again, shout out to Fearless, because you're awesome for all our audio work. And my name is Steven.
Yep, I'm Justin.
And y'all have a fantastic day.
Later.